We're finally here. One of the worst things I have ever eaten at a fine dining restaurant. Or ever? Welcome to part 3 of my fine dining restaurant review series. Today, we're talking about the Clove Club. It's the final chapter, and I'm coming for you. So I did debate putting up the Special Victims Unit logo. I did, because I do feel like me and my family were personally victimized by that dish. But when I thought about it, criminal intent is just more appropriate because there's no way that this was not intentional. This dish was so dastardly in its design. I just refuse to believe that this occurred by chance. This was executed. This was calculated. There's no way that someone tasted this and was like, send her off, she's good to go. No. So have you ever heard that you're not supposed to consume an animal that was scared or frightened when it died because all of these stress hormones and neurochemicals get into the meat and it affects the quality and the flavor? Does this not look like a crime scene? This bird died terrified. This bird was physically and psychologically tortured before it died. There's no way. I don't know who was tortured more, this animal before it died or me tasting it after the fact. So let me set the scene for you. They bring out these dishes and they say, this is our final dish. This is grouse. Now that's where we should have stopped, right there. We should have stopped it right there because does that sound appetizing? Oh, what's that? Oh, it's just grouse. A little bit grouse, grovel. Oh, that there, that's just grouse. That sounds very appetizing. That's very appetizing. It tasted as good as it sounded. So everyone else gets a head start on the dish. I'm a little bit late because I'm taking a photo of it so that I can talk about it in my mini blog later. Y'all, before I can put my phone down, the only thing I hear is forks clanging against the plates. And oh no, I'm so sorry. No, just no. Everyone all over the table. I'm like, what is going on? Mind you, this is a very big response from my family considering how mild-mannered they are. They're very polite. They're very respectable. This was a big deal. So I take a bite. I put this bird to my lips and I hold it in my mouth for maybe 1 second. When I tell you it felt like centuries, it felt like eons. I was outside of space and time. I was just in this vortex of torture. So I said, wait a minute, everybody, let's take a step back here. Who's even saying this is a bird? Animal my ass, that's a cadaver. That's a cadaver on that plate. And you know who it is? It's that waitress. It's the waitress. There's no way that that was an animal. There's something very off. It was embalmed, y'all. It tasted embalmed. Fear. That's what I tasted. Fear and acetone. Don't ask me. I don't know. The longer I held this thing in my mouth, I could taste every stage of decay. It was frightening. It tasted like they dumped that waitress in a vat of Chemical X. But instead of coming out a Powerpuff Girl, we got a dead Rowdy Rough boy on that plate. It gave rowdy and rough. But overall, what is this presentation? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not blood. I'm pretty sure it's just runoff from the elderberries. But what the fuck is that? That's 2 Michelin star restaurant worthy? Y'all were proud of that? Y'all put that on a plate and y'all are proud of that? You took a step back and you said, oh yeah. So at this point, my family's fed the fuck up. They're having these dishes hauled off. They're like, get this shit from in front of my face. That's an absolute no for me, dog. I did manage to get one little bite of whatever the fuck potato concoction this is. And just as a general, stop putting shit in potatoes. I'm pretty sure that was a carrot. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea? Why would you do that? Because you know the flavor wasn't hidden. You know it wasn't hidden. But texturally, can we stop doing shit like this? You're supposed to boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. And don't put nothing the fuck else in there unless it's some sort of heavy fat, you know, some herbs, garlic, okay, cheese, carrot? What are we doing? Mashed potatoes do not need a textural element. Whose idea was this? I want them served up next. I want them on the next plate. So I hope that waitress's soul finds peace, but that plate is gonna have to rest in the seventh circle of hell. She died in vain. She died for nothing, because that was quite literally one of the worst things I've ever tasted. Now, they did give us some dessert dishes that were pretty decent. This is a strawberries and cream dish with sake leaves. I didn't really taste the sake. I'm sorry. But the strawberries were pretty good. They were tossed in a black currant vinegar, some sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and then that wafer. Honestly, the cream tasted like the middle of an Oreo. It was all right. But overall, it was a good dish. Just individually, I don't think any of the components were special, but they came together to make something pretty decent. Then we had some chocolate discs. I'm not much of a dark chocolate girl. That's just me. And then this cake was pretty light and fluffy. It was like an orange vanilla type of flavor. Okay. And then some chocolate truffles on the side. Decent. One completely non-food related note. We got to talk about these medieval ass sinks that they had in this building. I don't understand how anyone was supposed to safely and properly wash their hands. I've never seen a more inefficient sink. Please take a look at this, y'all. This shit was fucking... I did the best I could to try to capture the lack of depth between the actual sink and the fucking spout. Y'all, this is... I wouldn't even say this is an inch. So basically, I'm just rubbing my hands all over the fucking dirty sink, trying to get water on there to wash them. What in the dark ages? Hey, I appreciate a good, historic, classic-looking building, but I think we could spring for some plumbing that didn't look like it came from the fucking plague era. Especially with how much y'all charging for them fucking plates. Now, did I have some really good dishes? Absolutely. That tomato dish, I still think about her to this day. I wonder if she thinks about me. I wonder if I should call her. No. That sardine chip with the sardine bone broth, fire. And there were plenty of decent dishes in between that I didn't get to review either. Decent. But for their few hits, the misses just vastly overshadowed them. I hate to even go back to that fucking tart, but one more thing I need to add about that. When you're paying literally hundreds of dollars a person, you better be replacing any sort of seafood or protein with another fucking protein. I cannot believe that everyone else got to eat scallops and they literally took some unseasoned, damn near raw bell pepper and threw it in a tart shell and called it a day. Are you absolutely kidding me? The dishes, the flavors, meh. It just wasn't a knockout. And that grouse was disgusting. Yeah, I experienced trauma, heavy trauma at the hands of the Clove Club with that fucking grouse. That was seriously, it was heinous. So this place was not only a 2 Michelin star restaurant, it was number 38 on the top 50 best restaurants in the world. The world. Is it April Fool's? Say it. Say it's April Fool's. Say psych. There definitely has to be some politics being played in how these stars are being awarded. Because 2 stars... All that to say, this is not to deter anyone from eating at a Michelin star restaurant. There are so many places that were insane and earned every single star that they have. And some of them I felt like were robbed of stars. But unfortunately, this was not the first fine dining restaurant we encountered that was overpriced, overhyped, and overrated. Next stop, 3 Michelin star restaurant, Alinea.